Welcome to Good for Bitcoin, a weekly show recorded live every Friday, where we recap the top events of the week and talk about everything that is good for Bitcoin. If it's built on Bitcoin, then it's good for Bitcoin. Let's get started.
Content shared on this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and do not reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, or company. We encourage you to conduct your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions. All right. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Leather Lounge. My name is Sean Longstreet, community advocate for Leather Wallet and host for the show. And today we are live from Nashville. I'm joined by the fabulous co-host, Brandon Marshall, social media manager at Trust Machines and host for Good for Bitcoin, a weekly show every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Brandon and I are combining forces today to bring you live from the Bitcoin Builders Conference in Nashville. I am unfortunately unable to make it in person, but Brandon is there. He's brought his gear, and he and the rest of the Leather and the Trust Machines team have rounded up a bunch of great people in the space. So we've got a lot of people on mic. So let me welcome Brandon. How's Nashville? So we've got a mute.
Hey, hopefully, can you hear me okay?
It sounds golden, man.
Are we coming in loud and clear over here?
Yeah, sounds good. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm just, we have, we've never done this live setup before, so very cool. I'm seeing some folks walk in here. I'm seeing, it's just me on the mic right now. I have two empty microphones, but, I literally just saw Stuart look into the door and then not see me, and then now he's going up to the second level. So we'll get him in a second. But yeah, super excited. This conference has just been awesome. We've been just bouncing around and doing a lot of things the past couple days. But we wanted to make sure that we were making time to for anybody that couldn't attend. Right, we want people to be able to tune in. We're doing all these giveaways. We want to make it fun even for the folks that aren't physically here in Nashville. So I'm really happy that we're doing this. This is awesome.
Yeah, well, what can you fill us in on? Like, with everyone who jumps on the mic today, I've got a lot of questions. So I really want to know, what have been the highlights so far? What's it been like to meet people in person? A lot of us we go back like 1, 2, maybe even 3 years. Like, we've known each other online, and then you get to see each other in person for the first time. And that can be like such a warm, positive experience. So from your perspective, what's the experience been since you landed?
Yeah, it's been wonderful. So I flew in on Tuesday, and I actually didn't do too much on Tuesday, but it was my first time in Nashville. So, we're staying downtown. So I got to kind of walk around, check out Broadway and, all the crazy activities that are happening there with all the live music and everything. So just got to explore the city a little bit, and that was cool. And then really hit the ground running on Wednesday, yesterday with Inscribing Nashville. We got to see a lot of really, really talented artists and builders, and all the panels were really great. So Inscribing Nashville was very fun. We went to Bit Gala. That was at the Parthenon. That was also very cool. That was put on by Forbes Web3. And that was very cool. For those that are not aware, basically in Nashville, they have a 1-to-1 replica of the Parthenon. It's amazing. Like, it's just this huge, incredible building. And that was very cool. And then we left that, and then we went back to Inscribing Nashville for the Pizza Ninjas after party. And there was just so much stuff to do, and it was really awesome.
I noticed you were flexing your Pizza Ninja again as your PFP.
I was, I had to put it back on, for for yesterday. And it's funny. I've had some conversations with folks about. I don't typically rock a PFP on my personal profile, but when in Nashville, right, you gotta rock your Pizza Ninjas PFP.
Of course. Speaking of PFPs, I'm looking in the audience, and I do see a lot of Stacks Invaders, which is great. And in related news, they recently finished their mint, a really like revolutionary new DMT mint. on stack. So it's good to see them that, completely wrapped up. And now the floor price, last I checked, it was in the high 20s. And I'm sure it's
definitely
be going up.
Yeah, I mean, huge congratulations to them. We did a nice Twitter thread on them last week, I believe, talking about that while the mint was still going on, so people could still go in and participate if they wanted. But they are on secondary on Gamma, so people can connect their leather wallets to Gamma if they want to purchase a Stacks Invader. And very cool project. I think we're gonna see more and more projects utilize that DMT kind of technology to have more on-chain assets. So really cool, that they were kind of one of the first really big examples of that. And I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, me too. I've several times throughout the day I was trying to mint. So I mean, I'm pretty sure like everyone in the room knows how it was working, but basically there was only one Stacks Invader created every block. So they were really limited by that. And a bunch of people could try to mint it, but it was, to my knowledge, random who got it. So yeah, for those, what was it, maybe 4 or 5 weeks, the mint was happening, at least on most people's radar. But yeah, after I had been scooping up, I don't know, I think I probably scooped up less than 20. But then after it ended, I thought I could use a couple more. So I went shopping, swept up the floor.
Yeah, I did not participate in minting, but I did buy a couple on secondary, kind of early on. So, yeah, I didn't want to. Well, I mean, the fees are pretty low, I guess, but I don't know. I just figured I'd just buy one or two for the culture, right?
Yeah, exactly, and it saves you time that way too.
Yeah.
I do see some more people joining in. Do you have anyone sitting down next to you on mic yet?
Not yet, but yeah, I'm seeing Stuart. We got Bit by Bit. We got Rosar. Come over here. Come over here.
Get on that juicy mic.
Here, grab let's see. We're gonna do. I think this is mic number 2, so I'm gonna unmute this one. If you want to grab headphones and your microphone there, we'll get you on.
So
and,
just anyone wasn't, I don't think many people know this, but Brandon, before becoming a social media wizard, he was a sound engineer. That's his background and his academic pursuits. So he's a wizard with all things technical and on the mic. So that's why he always sounds so very good in spaces.
All right.
I hear some mic.
How we doing? Let's get that gain up a little bit.
Hello. Yeah. So let's see how the levels are doing here.
Yeah.
You guys want me loud, right? Oh, there we go. It's getting crispy.
Is that good? Are we coming in loud and clear? You want to introduce yourself?
Oh, it's Rosar.
Oh, man.
Hi, everyone. Yo, Bit, Stu. I found him.
Yep. We're on the second floor. If anybody is listening at Bitcoin Builders and doesn't know where we are.
On my way, guys.
Honestly, just finding you is a story in itself, and I'm happy to share it. But I'm going to wait for my 2 good friends to come because stories are best shared together.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're at Bitcoin Builders conference, and the venue is like a 4-story, 5, maybe even 5-story venue. So yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge maybe finding us. We're on the
no,
story.
this quest took place all over Nashville to find this.
I see Stu.
I'm here, guys.
Okay, yeah. We'll wait to hear the full story.
And let me just say,
can join in a minute here.
Anyone in the audience on X here, it's a little bit of a looser show. If you just want to jump on mic and say something, ask any of our guests any questions, just say something that you're into right now, something that you're excited about, pumped about, just join us on stage and say hi.
Stu, grab a mic. Yeah, let's get you set up here.
Congrats to the Welsh community too, because I know on Tuesday they had their 10th giveaway week, the 10th week of giveaway. And man, when they started, that's 100 days is a big commitment. So for them to get to the 10th week is quite the milestone. So they're still rocking. I'm excited for an update there as well.
10 is a satisfying number.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Wow,
this is
cool.
Guys, tell me, do I sound even more smoother there?
I'll tell you, this isn't actually the same exact setup that I use at home. We kind of pared it down a little bit. We're on a slightly more portable situation. Are you hearing us okay?
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, we're sound checking live here. We didn't really practice this in advance, but it sounds like we're good to go.
Okay, guys, listen, well, first of all, Brendan, thank you so much for setting this up for us. Yet again, you've shown your support. It's great to see we have Rosa here beside me in the flesh, man. Hey, how's it going, man? How are you keeping?
Oh, you know how I'm going. I mean, I'm doing great. Okay, let's be clear about that. But it's been an ordeal just to get to this moment.
Yeah, it's definitely. I've definitely got my step count in today. Like, I mean, so it's been up and down these stairs trying to find.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
But if you can just give me 1 second here.
Yeah, we gotta find bit by bit.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll corral folks. That's no problem. Go
No
ahead.
corgis up behind.
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah.
While we're waiting for the corgis, Brandon, I'd love to hear, what has the conference been like so far? Bitcoin Builders Conference. What's it been like so far? What have you gained from some of the panelists, or sometimes more as what can be even more impactful is like the side conversations that people have with each other. So give us some highlights.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been bouncing around to event after event, these past 24, 48 hours or so. And it's just, these events are so cool because you get to finally meet people in person, right?
Yeah.
Like get to put a face to the name. I was chatting with some folks that they recognize me, but I didn't recognize them because they're like rocking a PFP, and that I was like, I feel like everyone needs to like print out like a shirt of their PFP and like put it on their shirt so I can be like, hey, I recognize you, and that's how we do it. So we got some more folks coming in here. We only have 2 microphones, so we're gonna have to kind of cycle through some stuff. But yeah, we got Dave setting up here, and yeah, this is cool. So, Rosa, I guess I'll throw it to you. How long have you kind of been here, and what events have you checked out so far?
I landed at like 6:37ish. Got an Uber to my hotel, which is on the other side of the river, but I couldn't check in, so I kind of just like dropped my bag off there with a nice receptionist lady, and then she gave me some free breakfast, even though I hadn't checked in yet, which was really nice. And then the nice shuttle driver gave me a ride here, and I was the only person on the shuttle, so he just took me wherever I wanted. And I was just getting W's after W's at that point. But then I went to the shuttle was supposed to go right here actually, but I thought this was at the main conference, so we went there, and then I wandered the halls of that for a while. Briefly snuck in, then realized that wasn't the right place, and then left and walked all the way back here. And then got kind of tired and went up on the roof and hung out. And then started chatting with all these people who I've been talking to online for about a year, but have not met in person, and that was really fun.
Super cool. Yeah, it's awesome to get to connect, and especially I feel like Bitcoin Builders is like my favorite event out of all the kind of side events that happen, around the main Bitcoin conference. Mm-hmm. Because there are so many builders, and especially in the Stacks ecosystem, all the people that we talk to, all the time. There's just so many people here to connect with.
Last year,
yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, it's just fun. It's fun because you always play that game of like, you're what I expected, or you're not what I expected. You're taller than I expected, or you're whatever, something like that. And it's just fun.
Yeah. Longstreet, go ahead, and then we'll bring Dave in. After.
Cool. Yeah, and last October I got to go to London for the Bitcoin Builders Conference. I met Jesse and Jude and Hero Gamer and Will and a bunch of us, and we all just ended up like walking around London. Hero knew a bunch of really good places to go to, so we did like a little walking tour. I call it the Hero's Journey that we all went on. So it was awesome. Just like I said, the presentations are always amazing, but then it's those side conversations, those connections that you make that are really lasting. And you guys are just getting started.
Yeah. Dave's here.
Hey guys, thanks for having me, Brandon.
Yeah,
man, what a pleasure.
Super cool to have you guys here.
Amazing event so far, amazing city, so much energy. I just can't tell you, we are beyond humbled and honored to be here, to represent Welsh, represent Stacks, and our whole community. Just let's go. We're ready.
Yeah. And Stu, we only have 3 microphones to go around, so Stu's joining in. Well, he's tuned into the space, so we got Stuart here too. And we're going to be bringing in some more folks here in a little bit.
Yeah, guys, listen. You know what? Just as bit by bit was saying there, like, I mean, here's all about the energy, the connection, what we've already made. so many different connections already from last night. We were at the at what do you call it, the Pizza Ninjas. Made some nice connections there already this morning, with many good projects. But yet again, we have to say thank you to Leather again for always, standing out here, supporting us, going forward. So absolutely amazing to Brandon and Sean. I'm just disappointed I don't get to use the microphone, my man. I was looking forward to sound super smooth. But yeah, guys, listen, thank you so much, and yeah, let's make this epic.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that. I technically have a third microphone that's open, but when I have my phone connected to this thing, like the third one gets taken. So unfortunately, we can't have three, but we'll cycle through,
We
and
can take turns.
yeah, we got some more folks coming in. So yeah, we can definitely take turns. I
Right
guess
on.
I'd love to hear how the conference has been for you guys so far. Did you catch any of the speakers? Stu, you mentioned that you were at inscribing yesterday. What was kind of your favorite panel there, and what were some cool things that you've kind of experienced so far?
Yeah, see somebody sent through a message there. Yeah, listen, so far we arrived down here, quite just in the middle of the day yesterday, quite late, after what, an 8-hour journey. We just made our way around, got to go to see the Pizza Ninja party, which was definitely very eventful. And on this here, I just want to say a shout out to Trevor for that there. Definitely something very interesting. Made some good contacts. But yet again, we're just going forward here. We've met. For me, one of the, I'd say, this had the privilege just meeting there face to face. One of the hardest working people that I know within in the communities as well, and that's Rena. Got to meet her face to face up there. What an absolute power lady. So that was one of the cool things out, and I also got to meet Munib as well. So absolutely excellent. It's yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool.
One of the things I noticed last night at the Pizza Ninja party, we were looking, there's a whole bunch of sponsors. And all of us got super excited when we saw Leather come up there. We were pointing it out. We took some pictures. We just wanted to have that memory. And we did post up some things too. So really happy to see Leather out there representing, moving forward. Awesome.
Yeah, it's a big difference. I feel like this year compared to last year. Last year we sponsored the main conference as Trust Machines, and we had a booth, and those sponsorships are expensive, right? There's a lot of money in those, and I think this time around we're not sponsoring the main event, but we're sponsoring a lot of these side events, and I almost feel like that's better. It's better for the communities, right? To connect with everybody. And it's just been really awesome, and especially the different types of communities, right? Yesterday was very ordinals focused. Today with Bitcoin builders, very stacks focused. So really cool that we're getting to connect with all the different people and all the different ecosystems in our Bitcoin community.
I think that's pretty well set up. If I can jump in here, I agree, Brandon. It seems even from like where I am right now, it seems like with the conference, it's still like rather maxi-ish, right? Like they get to like dig down into that Bitcoin maxi culture. It's still very connected with politics, very connected to macro. It's like very like, all caps Bitcoin. And the side events is where, I think for a lot of us here, that's what's really pushing the boundaries. It's interesting. It's engaging. We're talking about art. We're talking about building on Bitcoin and innovating and seeing what else we can do on the chain. So yeah, it stands as a nice contrast to the main event.
Brandon, is Leather going to be there in the room with Donald Trump? That is the question.
I'm actually flying out tomorrow. So, we got echo. I'm flying out tomorrow. So, are you guys hearing an echo? Are you guys hearing an echo, or is it just on our
echo?
End?
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, maybe maybe it's Dave's, or no, it's Stuart's fault. Maybe, I don't know.
The Welsh effect.
Yeah, so we won't be there. I'm flying out tomorrow. I gotta go back home. A lot of us are just here for Bitcoin builders, and then we kind of fly back. Yeah.
Rosar.
Yeah, right on. So if we have to rock the leather hat for Donald Trump, we will have that on. I got a leather T-shirt upstairs, whole bunch of leather swag. Let's go. We can represent.
I believe it's a leather hat. Is it not?
It is. We're looking at it right here. It's beautiful, all leather.
Yeah, so we have, that's maybe a good segue to talk about some of the, I posted a couple of videos this morning from the leather account for folks to check it out. But yeah, we have some leather T-shirts. We have some leather hats. They're also giving out like some custom like leather keychains. I don't know if you guys saw that too up there. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to be had.
I nabbed a bag of it. I got a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
We will rep the leather set for Donald Trump.
I love it.
We
yeah,
got
I
you
appreciate
guys.
it.
We got you guys.
Yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, for folks at home, that aren't at the conference, don't worry. We have. I was going to pin the tweet in a minute here. We have right now a giveaway for. Let's see. I gotta scroll down to find it. We got a leather cap and a water bottle that we're giving out for anybody that wants to retweet the space or retweet the post. I'm going to pin it to the space here, and then we'll have a separate giveaway tomorrow for some other merch as well. So there's your alpha. Stay tuned. It's giveaway week.
Let's go.
I just, by watching you do that, finally learned how to pin to threads or to spaces.
See, you learn something new every day.
As soon as you started doing it, I was like, I'm going to watch.
Yeah, it's Bitcoin builders, right? This is an educational
Growth
conference.
mindset. Growth mindset. Always learning.
Luckily, Rosar's mind's like a steel trap, so he saw it once, and that's all he needs.
It's more
He's
like a
got it.
fishing net,
Locked in.
Like the important stuff it catches, but a lot of stuff just goes right out.
I was getting your back there.
Let me segue to Rosar here because he was our guest on episode 10. We talked with Rosar about charisma, but it was a long, great, in-depth conversation. I think we were going for 90 minutes, and we talked not just about charisma, but we got a little bit about your background. We talked about creativity. So, Rosar, can you give us just a little update on charisma? Because I seem to be having a hard time keeping up with all the innovation, all the new stuff you have going on. So, what's the latest with charisma?
Okay, the latest with charisma. I do want to talk about charisma, but there's one thing I want to talk about a little more first, which is this hilarious story on how me, Stu, and Bit
All right,
by
let's
Bit
get there.
found this place. Can we? I'll keep it very short.
Let's rewind.
I'll keep it very short. Before we move on to too many heavy topics, I do want to cover this. Can you guys start it off? How did we find ourselves at this random place in the first place? And then I'll take it from there.
Well, we were given an address, and threw that in the navigation. We rolled up to a site that we thought was the Leather Lounge. There was already an engagement going on, and they told us that they were wrapping up. So we were cool. We just kind of sitting back, just waiting.
But how did you get in?
We actually used that pass. We had a QR code. What was the name of the pass, too? Let's look at it.
Was it Ord House that you guys showed up to?
Yes, it was.
Ord House.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So we were sponsoring a brunch this morning.
That's what it
So
was.
Yeah.
there's some wires crossed there. I also showed up this place. I had no pass, but I explained that I was with them with Leather Lounge, and they let me in. And so then
Same.
this is where we met, actually, first time in person. So we mingled a little bit and hung out, and it was fun. And then they started kicking everyone out, like everyone. And we were like, oh, they must be starting up the Leather Lounge now. They're going to do the recording. They're going to get it quiet. And so we waiting, and it's just us and the hosts at this point. And they're like, what are you still doing here? Get out. And we're like, we're panelists. We're guest speakers.
So, and then the actual reply was, I don't care. Get out. So we were like,
So we were very
are we in
confused.
the right?
Yeah.
And then we just sat in their lawn for about 15 minutes, at which point then I called Brandon and said, I don't think we're in the right place now. And he said, yeah, we're at the Bitcoin Builders building. And I said, okay, that's the only thing that makes sense.
Right.
So then we came here and searched every room until we found it. But yeah, we just went into a random party and told them we were speakers, and then they let us in, basically.
I'm surprised. The security there was pretty tight.
It was
felt like,
fun.
so
really
I'm
it was a
surprised
good.
that they let you in.
Actually,
there
honestly.
was three
I am too.
large gentlemen
Yeah.
at the entrance.
Yeah.
Checking IDs and passes and everything else.
Somehow
We got in.
we all got
we
in.
used the magic word.
it was
leather.
actually a lot of fun. I wish we could have stayed longer, but all right. Story done. Okay, it's
Let's
been
go.
a wild
You're
one day
here.
so far, for me at least. Okay, all right. Now on to charisma. Yeah, there's just so much to do. It's hard to cover it in one topic, but I would say what's on my mind right now is like scaling the platform technically. I'm running up against that wall with the API rate limits on Hero. If you ever build anything on Hero, like very quickly you start hitting rate limits unless you structure and organize your code properly and build it to scale. So on that side, I'm starting to use chain hooks to cache chain state, and that's like one angle there. But generally scaling. So also scaling users making it easier for users to onboard, simplifying the onboarding process. I actually jumped in a space, I think it was like Wednesday night, so the night before I flew out, and it was just like a bunch, like, 8 to 10 people, and my goal was, okay, I want to get these people their first like yield farming setup, which in Charisma is called the creature. Creatures are just a tokenized version of yield farming. When you yield farm, you take LP tokens, you stake them, and then like after a certain amount of blocks, you get rewards.
So it's a reward. Right?
Yeah, it's a reward. In Charisma, you liquid stake, so you get a token to represent your farming. And I was like, I just want these people to have their first creature, and then they can start like claiming rewards. And like once you get that cycle, it's fun, it's exciting, and it kind of clicks. Seeing is believing. So that was the goal. And then I realized there are way too many steps in Charisma to do that for a newcomer. So I did I pivoted a little bit, and I was like, okay, well, actually, the one nice benefit of creatures over the way existing yield farming works is their tokens. You can transfer them. So I actually just transferred one creature to each of these 10 people, and they were able to start farming with it. So that led into another thing. I started talking with Rafa from Neon Fun, and he actually got OTC swaps set up for semi-fungible tokens, like SIP13 tokens. So now I can like load in a one like farmer creature and sell it for 1 stacks, and that's just a lot easier than having someone like swap tokens and create LP and stake their LP, and then it's just one step. You can just buy it now. So just basically, like I said, trying to make it easier to onboard people, just to scale things and get more people using it, get people trying it, because I think it brings a lot of value, and I'm trying to make the best parts of stacks, which I find are like the DeFi, just like a little easier to use and a little more accessible to newcomers, and maybe even a little more fun. So
and it's nice having a little flavor with your DeFi too, right? It's not so cut and dry. It's not just so I don't want to say bland, but just average. Doing what you're doing, you're actually kind of turning it into one of those gamified, decentralized platforms, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I can't help it. It's, like many people, I grew up playing a lot of games, and why shouldn't it be fun? So it's just a little bit of my personality kind of coming out, and like I guess I have a eccentric personality.
Nope.
I'm just wondering. I mean, will there be like a Candy Crush option to Charisma? Can we
if we have more devs?
We got apples though, right? You said we got apples, right? We can crush apples.
Yeah, if someone wants to build it. Like I'm just waiting for someone like Vinzo, who's already built like games in the space. Just like we get some time together, and like plug it into the system, and then just expand it. But it's everyone's busy. It's a lot of work, and I'll keep my foot down the pedal. But like just waiting for people to find that they have the time or the interest, and then that's how you grow. I think like you can force growth. Like these things take time, and adding on new developers is even harder than adding on new users, because developers are even more rare. So yeah, just growing, basically growing pains, trying to make everything easier. Simultaneously, everything's harder.
Mm-hmm.
I think anyone who's built anything can relate to that. So
yeah, add 30% to the time and the cost of anything, and that might be halfway accurate.
That's right.
I love the personification though of the creatures. It's such a good way. I mean, I've never seen that before, and I can imagine other people adopting that idea.
Yeah, I always try and use like analogies when I'm working with abstract things, because it just it just helps me form a mental model of like how, because like I have an idea of how something should work, like how something should, because I'm like drawing from analogies of things I've done in the past, which are fun. That could be games, but it also could be like the way DeFi should work. Like a lot of this stuff is just DeFi. Maybe I decouple something and add, like, make one change, which I think could improve it, and then, put like a skin of like a top end layer of, the flavor and the way I want it to kind of flow and feel. So that's more or less my process.
Yeah, I like the focus too on, you seem like you're very focused on the onboarding process, right? Kind of that 0 to 1. Kind of once they start to use it, they get a little bit kind of stickier and, start to use the platform a little bit. But I think the hardest thing is just to get people to start using it to begin with. So, the things that you've introduced, like the airdrop, mechanics and things like that. The faucet is what That's what I meant. You know, that's really helps to bring people on, you know, to start using it for the first time.
And I think another thing that also helps, and we've seen Rosar do this, is you know, kind of putting up your stats. You know, it's like, hey, I just harvested these apples. Here's my rate. This is so awesome. You know, so not only can we tell them that charisma is awesome, you can actually like post up shots of rewards, post up shots of your wins, post up shots of what's coming, and I think the visual aspect also helps.
Yeah, that's another thing I was actually playing around with is like, since I started working on the chain hook stuff, I said, well, why not? It seems like an ideal time to like put a Discord integration in there and like send a webhook when we get like events like harvests and, you know, milestones for players. So, yeah, so that's another thing happening too. But yeah, I agree. Like, what is like measured is what grows. You know what I mean? That's a saying, something like that. I butchered it a little bit, but yeah, like getting visibility on something is the best way to improve performance most of the time. Like, it's hard to improve something if you don't really know where it is or where it stands. But if you can measure it consistently, you can start to like run experiments and like A, move the needle, B did not. Let's dig into A. Let's try A plus C. You know, that improved it. All right, let's keep going that direction. So,
Rosar.
I think it's exciting. Excuse me. Mark. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
okay,
Longstreet.
thanks, man. Just Rosar comes up with the best phrases and analogies. This time it was, what did you just say? That what is measured can grow. But then when we talked a couple of weeks ago, something about not the ripple effect. What was it? Do you know what I'm talking about, Rosar? Something about the wave effect. I'll look it up in my notes here.
There is a butterfly effect. Is that what we're talking about?
It's not that one. I'm going to look it up because it was really good.
Change the world.
I think this is the fishnet thing coming back. I know what you're talking about, but the details are not there anymore in my head.
I'll get there. Who else is walking around down there, Brandon?
We're our content lead Annie is walking around, I think, trying to corral some folks. So we'll get some more folks in a bit here. But Longstreet, I'm just curious. I guess, you know, you've maybe had a little bit more time to, you know, be checking Twitter and checking things out. There's been so much news that has happened this week, so many like announcements. Yeah. And since this is a good for Bitcoin crossover, we have to talk about a little bit of news. So I'm curious, I guess, what's, you know, kind of stood out to you this week that's been really, you know, just exciting or, you know, particularly impactful.
Yep. Great pivot. Oh, real quick, it's the waterline principle, Rosar.
Oh, yes.
Well,
yes.
Can you give a quick recap of what that is?
Yeah, like the waterline is like it's like a thing about reversible decisions and irreversible decisions. Or actually, no, the waterline is about. I feel like I talked about that too, but the waterline is like safe decisions to make and not safe decisions to make. Actually, they are kind of related. Like for instance, like getting funds stuck in a smart contract that you can't get them out. You know, like if there's a smart contract deployed and you can deposit funds but you can't withdraw them, that's like a below the waterline decision. Like you can't run that back; it's irreversible. But you know, something like you deploy a smart contract and like the cycle breaks and it stops at cycle 1 or something, and it can't continue if it's something that's supposed to be like cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. You know, like if it stops cycling, that's not a big deal. If you can if there's funds in it and you can withdraw them, you can just withdraw them and redeploy the contract. So it's like identifying irreversible changes and reversible changes and treating them very differently in your process.
Right.
Okay. It took me a while, but
that was
it.
Came back to me. Yeah, and it was in the conversation of like moving fast and breaking things. You can move quick and make mistakes if the consequences like aren't massive and long lasting. Like, but you do have to put in more consideration if the consequences could have like dire effects. Yeah. 100%. Cool. The waterline principle. Yeah, Brandon, to pivot to good for Bitcoin. It's been, you know, it's crazy. I know I went to bed thinking like, what Bitcoin conference is going to have Kamala Harris coming? Like, she's going to talk, like what's happening? And then woke up the next day like, no, hard no, that's definitely not happening. So, and then just, you know, the amount of pandering that we see from just anyone in politics who are courting the single issue voters or people that, you know, are going to take that into consideration, take Bitcoin and crypto into their consideration when it comes to picking a voter. You know, I think people are starting to realize, like, I don't know if you've heard the phrase in the Bitcoin community, but it's don't trust, verify. So it definitely feels at odds with that phrase when I see so many Bitcoin and crypto people just jumping on any politician who says, I'm pro crypto. I mean, obviously, everything should be nuanced, but don't trust, verify. Like, you can't just trust someone who says, I'm pro Bitcoins. You know, unless they speak very well about it and there's something to back it up. So yeah, this is a real dynamic space, and I know obviously it's incredibly exciting. We've in the past, last year we had 2 presidential candidates announce their presidency. It was Ramaswamy and RFK Jr. Last year in Miami, they announced it, and then they were accepting Bitcoin. But now we're getting like a former president. So I know, like, we're definitely going to the next level. There's a lot to be excited about. But I'm also feeling like this pullback of, like, you know, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
I have a question for everyone here. I feel like over the last few days, from the Trump PA rally incident, like shooting incident, to, like, you know, the speakers pledging or, you know, saying or not saying they're going to be at this event till today, like all this stuff. I've been getting like a lot of political news on my For You page on Twitter. And it's like one day it'll be like all for one person. The next day, like recently I've been getting like a ton of like pro Kamala stuff. And it's like I never click nor look at any of this stuff. Like I scroll past all of it and I'm just getting like,
Those are your enemies. Okay, they're signing you up. I'll tell you, text message wise, I get probably 5 to 10 political text messages a day, and every time you swipe to delete, and, you know, it says report junk. I mean, I don't know what the reporting, you know, standard is, but it doesn't seem to be working because it just keeps coming and coming and coming.
like it certainly feels like someone turned on some sort of social engine of posts or something. Cause like I don't really like
It's crazy, and I think,
engage with, you know, political stuff on Twitter.
We've got Stuart visiting us here in America from Italy. And, you know, I think it was his first experience watching American commercials, TV
Wow.
commercials. And, you know, you guys know how the TV commercials are come election time. It gets brutal, you know, and some of the stuff is just downright dirty. And, you know, I got the show, you know, the commercial pop on. I grab Stu. Hey, Stu, turn around. Watch this. Holy cow. You're not kidding. These guys are going crazy.
Yeah, I think it goes back to, you know, what we've, I think, said on the show before is kind of just like watch what they do, not what they say, you know, like it's the actions definitely speak louder than words. And yeah, I mean, that's what's most important, right? Is what they're actually doing versus what they might be saying just to, you know, try to potentially pander to the Bitcoin audience.
Caitlin Long has been, I've been seeing a lot about Caitlin Long, and it's also because I recently followed her and I've got notifications just because she's a lot of signal, but she's been presenting a lot today. So she's a great one to follow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the bigger ones that I saw, which was cool because I remember a year ago in Miami at Bitcoin Builders, they were talking about it, was Taproot assets. And Lightning Labs announced, had the big announcement this week with Taproot assets coming to mainnet, which is huge for, you know, potentially getting stable coins on Lightning.
Yeah, I think you know more about Lightning. I know you know more about Lightning than I do. But it seems like there's been all of these hurdles that are preventing Lightning from actually scaling. Like, it was the front runner for a long time, but it seems like it might not scale.
Yeah, I would agree. I think what I think is interesting is like the kind of the eCash, you know, stuff that's also been building. I think it makes potentially more sense for not everybody, right? Just technically, not everybody's going to be able to run a Lightning node in their house and, you know, be able to connect to the Lightning network. So there's going to be some trust that's involved with potentially going through.
Brandon dropped out. I'm not sure if it's his mic. Oh, there we go.
Did I drop out?
Just for a second, but
Can you hear?
yeah, I've got you now.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead,
I mean,
Rosar.
I can hear you, but that might just be from the direct
that's because we're
monitor,
wired
Yeah.
up together here.
which is very satisfying.
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
way. There's nothing better than hearing yourself talk at the exact same time.
Yeah, it's pretty
through this
nice. We
microphone.
have no latency over here, and it's nice.
Nice.
For sure. Let me see if I can get connected to our Wi-Fi. I think that might be why we're dropping out, and hopefully we don't get like booted
Is
off.
Stuart available? Because I want to hear more about his time in America, for some first impressions. Is it rose-colored glasses? Everything?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, yeah, my first experience in America has been definitely an eye opener here. It's well, first of all, you know what? I've got one of the best hosts ever here. I mean, bit by bit has definitely rolled out the red carpet after red carpet after red carpet. His hospitality has.
Oh, we got to get these guys jumping on the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Do we keep cutting out Longstreet, or what's
Just cut
what's
out
happening?
just a little bit again. Yeah.
Okay.
But Stuart, keep
Go ahead, Stu.
going.
Okay, can you
Yeah.
hear me? Yeah, is
Yeah.
that okay? Okay, amazing, super. So yeah, it's been already in the area we're in, beautiful area, but we got to do this amazing road trip from there up to Nashville, and also yet again we got the red carpet thrown out for us again by one of Bit by Bit's friends, which has been wow. First of all, then arriving in Nashville, like, I mean, everything's so different from Europe here. America's just everything's nothing. It's not like Ireland. It's not like Italy. You know, all you guys know where I live, and yeah, the culture's different here. The people are definitely bigger, and I mean, not just as in weight wise. I mean, all these guys are like 6 foot fucking six, like, and I'm looking up and they're going, fucking hell, big guys, like, you know. So it's definitely just everything's so much different. Is it better? Is it worse? No, it's just different, you know. But it's been a beautiful experience so far. Like, I mean, and you know, arriving here, and I want to come back to, you know, I mean, the whole thing of why we are here. You know, with Welsh and Stacks, you know, and our, you know, growing the collaborations, growing the community. We've had to say, like, I mean, already get some amazing connections to help us, you know, grow forward, getting through. And getting our community larger, but not just within Welsh, but also within Stacks, and you know, to help also within the and you know, bringing that back to the, you know, the utilities that are out there. That, you know, the for example, leather. You know, the more people we bring in, the more customers you get, and it's a win-win for everybody. You know what I mean? And you know, and the work that you do for us by supporting us week in, week out. Trust me, you know, you already know, Sean, like, I mean, how much we respect this, and well as Brandon as well. Like, I mean, how much we, you know, truly respect this. Like, I mean, as I said, like, I mean, we always try to make up new posts as well to keep the just to keep that interaction going as well, you know. But apart from all that, there, listen, things been brilliant. It's been amazing, and I'm definitely going to get one of these mics for myself. Man, these are definitely. I'll be doing spaces on my own just to listen to myself.
It's worth
So yeah,
for sure.
But yeah, so it's so apart from that, there, listen, everything's very good. Everything's very exciting. We've got another 2 or 3 days of connections, collaborations. And the best part of all this year, and I've said this already this morning on one of the spaces with Bitcoin Pepe. Like, I mean, you know, we all have our own ideas, and even Rosar said this as well. Like, I mean, we have these perceptions in our mind. Like, I mean, what does the person look like? How are they really? You know, I mean, when I met Rosar this morning, I nearly got a creak in my neck looking up. Like, I mean, this is a big lump of a guy. Like, you know, so it's but in that there, this is where the true comes through. Like, I mean, you can, you know, in a person's handshake, how they are, how they react, you can see the true person. Like, I mean, and all of a sudden, like, I mean, that builds connections, that builds that connection going forward. Like, I mean, so it's that's the whole part of this for me here today. Like, you know.
Yeah, I'll just jump in with a little bit of my journey. I went to the Miami Bitcoin conference last year, and then in October I went to Bitcoin Builders. I found a panel to jump on. I talked with several people, and it's probably just because of like the in-person conversations that I had that led me to just having a conversation with the people at Leather. So I could be doing what I'm doing now. So yeah, it's that in-person connection that can really sometimes like make the difference.
You never know. Maybe next year I'll be on Leather with you guys. Who knows?
You were the co-host.
Maybe. Yeah, I feel like it's for us, at Leather and Trust Machines, it's great, for two reasons. One, we get to hear kind of directly from the users and get to kind of hear that like honest, kind of candid feedback. Like I've gone up to several people and been like, "What don't you like about Leather?" Right? So like we want to learn, right, and we want to improve, and it's great to hear directly from folks, but just also a great opportunity to hear from like different partners and stuff like that too. People that we're already working with, right? I got to meet, the Ordinals bot folks yesterday, which was super cool. And there's so many people here at Bitcoin Builders that I once this space is over, that we'll all get to kind of do a little bit more networking and meet some more folks. But it's just great to meet all these different communities that are here.
What panelists have you guys seen?
Have you guys checked out any panels yet, or?
We got in last night,
Yeah.
so no, we just did the Pizza Ninjas, and then here, right up here.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I was at Inscribing Nashville yesterday, and I caught most of the panels actually for during the day. We heard from a lot of our friends, like Nick from Gamma was moderating one thing. We had Brett from Gamma that was moderating another. Gamma was really deeply integrated into the event, and it was really cool to. I got to meet Brett yesterday. That was amazing. Wow. What a dream come true, right?
Jam, such a jam. I know he's talking, or he's watching Munib speak right now. So I think we're going to try to get him to find you upstairs in a little.
Yeah. I'm seeing some familiar faces that are like in the room, that are like on the other side of the room, and I'm like, hey, I gotta like almost step away and be like, hey, if you guys want to come over here, feel free. We can get some folks on. I don't want to name drop them just in case they don't end up coming on, but I can ask them first.
Is there any reason that we need to end it like in 7 minutes at top of the hour, or could we go an extra?
No, we continue.
No, we can go. Yeah.
Are you sure, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Else? Just one thing as well.
Only for having fun. Okay.
3 hours a day.
As I said as well, what's actually quite cool. So I can hear myself actually in my earphones. What's actually quite cool as well, we are actually here representing the Welsh community as well, so it's, that's the fun part. There's a lot of people here, unfortunately, who couldn't be here, who would love to have all the community here with us, but we're trying to represent the Welsh community as the best as we possibly can. Would you not agree on that, Roser?
I agree. I think they're going to have to pry the microphone out of your fingers after the end of this one. I think you're enjoying it too much.
They always want to pry the microphone. They always try to pry the microphone in my fingers, man. You know what I'm like? Once the biggest problem for me was getting started, and then the problem was getting me to stop then after. So it's
Yep.
You're crazy. So it's.
I watched that whole arc play out.
Yeah, but listen, guys. Just as Brandon just said there, we see so many of these, top profile people just walking past, and you're going, hey, this is pretty cool. Yet again, don't want to mention any names in case they don't come on the space, but it's pretty dope.
Funny story about that one. When I was scouring the third floor to find Leather Lounge, which turns out it was on the second floor, I had the phone in my hand, and the space had started, and the music's going on, so he's recording somewhere. The two stages were occupied by other events, so I asked around. I was like, is there another stage hidden somewhere? And so they took me back behind the main stage. I walked through a kitchen, which in the kitchen was just me and Munib. So that was part of that experience. Cool. Then I walked by him behind this curtain thing that says, don't come in here, we're filming. But I was like, the music's on. So I creaked the door open, and someone was in fact filming. It was a entirely different thing. So then I closed it and backed away. Yeah. So that was another wild adventure, just trying to find this thing.
Well, I've mentioned Gamma 3 times, I feel like, and then we suddenly had somebody walk through the door. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Brett. He's here.
I am finally here. I felt so guilty. I messaged you. I didn't even realize we were in the same building. But thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure. We obviously had such a long relationship with Leather before they were called Leather Hero Wallet. One of our first integrations back at when we were called Stacks NFT. And I'm so excited to have met Brandon yesterday in person. Lord Rosa's here. We've got lots of friends. It's super exciting. It's amazing to do one of these live. Like, I've never done a live space.
Isn't this cool?
Yeah.
This is so cool.
I'm always in my garage converted into an office back in Melbourne in Australia, listening into these things and tuning in. This is great. And it was so nice to meet Brandon. You feel like, particularly living in Australia, it's a long way away, but you feel like these people are your friends and you know them super well. And then all of a sudden and they are your friends, but you're in the same room as them and you feel like you might have just seen them last week, but you didn't, because you haven't actually been in the same physical space. So thank you for having me. I'm stoked to be here. I just saw Manib upstairs. That was exciting. Yeah, I would have come down earlier.
It's also very satisfying to have a sound system working without problems and actually sounding really nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, normally it's like one or the other, Like, has to not work 10 times before you finally get to work.
Yeah, knock on wood, it continues to work. I didn't really test this out with like multi-mic setup before, so seems like it's going pretty good, other than maybe some Wi-Fi issues that we were having earlier. But
that's
and my phone battery hopefully survives. But we're good.
We're
good
for now.
So what is good, Leather Lounge? I appreciate. I send through a recording every week to Longstreet. Just a brief overview of the landscape of what's going on with us at Gamma, and giving a few shout outs and whatnot. So I hope you enjoy those. I would get up for them, but they're early in the morning, and then so I'm typically up with my kids at that time, so it is very tricky to get to work. But I will definitely try and make a few of them. But this is perfect time of day, and I'm in the States.
Such a gift to have you here. I guess I'd love to hear about your experience yesterday, especially at Describing Nashville. I caught the panel that you were moderating. That went really well. Bunch of really amazing artists that were on that panel. So maybe you could talk about that a little bit and just your experience so far.
100%. It was a really successful day. Inscribing Atlantis and us at Gamma and Nolch's shows, I think, did a great job. It was amazing to see all the people that made the effort to get there. You meet the names behind the PFPs, behind the handles, the digital identities, and you're like, oh wow, yeah, we've spoken heaps. I knew you were in the same group and whatnot. The panel was really exciting. I'll be honest, I don't get nervous public speaking that much, but when I saw that Raph, who is core ordinals maintainer, it was part of the design of the protocol, was on my panel, I thought, okay, cool. Well, I felt very honored for a start, but I thought, okay, I was a little bit nervous, but he was great, lovely guy. It went super well. Billy was there, Grace Ng was there, into Bitcoin as well from Crash Punk's days, and Michael, who did the Order Ephemera drop, which is Erin, who's leads Inscribing Atlantis, her collection. So it was amazing. It was incredible. I joked that it moderated itself, just bounced off each other so beautifully. I only had to really ask a couple of kind of guiding questions, but it was really great. I think the whole day was, each of the panels was really nicely curated because you had such a mix of people, and it wasn't just a space. Sometimes on Twitter Spaces, it's just like, woo, ordinals, we love Bitcoin, this is going to last forever. And you could, and of course, we all feel that, and it's nice to be passionate, but it was nice to just hear a little bit more of a technical, high-level chat, a little bit more deep analysis, more of the background and the stories and the narratives behind everything, because I think as we evolve and we mature, that's what you want to learn. Of course, at the start, it's like hype is good and people want to learn the key kind of reasons why it's exciting. But then I think as we progress, that education, and I think that is key, comes back to me being a teacher back in the day for 10 years prior to working in this space, was, at the start, you want to kind of like draw the kids in, but then afterwards you actually need to teach the content. And I think that works the same across all ecosystems and industries. We're at a point now.
Oh, we know all about that.
Oh yeah.
Here at Welsh. That is the 1-2 punch we've been doing since the start. Draw them in and then teach them a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Exactly right. It doesn't matter whether you're a child or an adult. And I think that is key. And like, what am I referring to as Lord Rosa on air?
That's correct.
Yeah. As Lord Rosa on air had just said,
just call me Rosa.
Rosa.
Call me Rosa.
Lord. All right, Lord. All right, Rosa. Manib even said it upstairs. He's right. You want to give that core value add of Stacks being an L2 and really expanding the reach of Bitcoin to the greater population, or at least he said it was really interesting. He said, people talk about the next billion users, but you sort of want to talk about the next million or 10 million. Sometimes you need to think about like where are we trying to get to and at what stage. And I think like having that kind of roadmap in your mind, and how any protocol or project, a coin, a company like Leather, yes, you have these grand ideas like us at Gamma. We have these grand ideas, of course. But you've got to think, okay, what can we achieve tomorrow? What can we achieve in a week? Then what can we achieve in a month? Okay, Nakamoto's coming hopefully around that in August 31st. Like, what do we want to be there? And I think that quality projects and quality ecosystems work like that. And I think that patience that Bitcoin teaches, I think is what drew me to Stacks in the first place all the way back in 2021. But I see that kind of, if you want to call it a mantra, really shine through. So to link it back to yesterday, I think that was a real positive, because it wasn't just like trying to draw people in. Everyone was there because they're pretty aware of ordinals. You wouldn't have really made the trip if you weren't. So I think that deeper digging in education and like what can we achieve as a whole group, even within our all our different realms, was great. And and it was fun. The food was good. Mm-hmm. People were there. Trevor had set up that super fun ninja lounge. People getting tattoos. I would, each to their own. I wouldn't get a tattoo of my ninja, but I mean, good on you if you did. You love to see it. And the music was good later, and it was cool. It was just like, I think that 18 months ago, we're 18 months after the Inscription Zero, and we've got this conference, and during Bitcoin Nashville and Bitcoin builders with Stacks and all the other L2s that are going for it. Who would have thought? It's pretty crazy. I was joking yesterday with someone that midway through 2020, I don't know what year that was now, like 2023, and Stacks was at 20 cents. Everyone was a little stressed. So it's nice to see smiles on everyone's faces right now, and the vibe definitely feels a bit different. And yesterday shone through, and hanging out here and bumping into guys like Jesus and Dylan and all these people, Brandon and Rosa, people that have been around for so long and kicking goals and have stuck around. It's so nice to see.
Yeah, it's all of us have been building this whole time, right? We've all been in it for a really long time. I think one thing that really resonated with me yesterday, getting back to inscribing, was I can forget who mentioned it. It might have been Aaron or maybe Butoshi. They were kind of co MCs of the event. But somebody said, a lot of people are here just for this event, right? They traveled to Nashville just for ordinals, and not for the main Bitcoin conference. Like, they were here just for ordinals. And that just resonated with me so much, just in terms of, not everybody is going to want to use Bitcoin or get integrated into the ecosystem for the same reasons, right? There's all these different use cases that are potentially going to attract people to come into the space, whether that's DeFi or art or, all these number of use cases. So it's just really cool, that this ecosystem just continues to build and build and build across all those different use cases.
I completely agree. And it's funny. I think that just from my experience working at Gamma, it's brought artists. They've learned about Bitcoin. It could be the first Bitcoin that they've ever bought was because of art or culture. I think maybe it's even better to define it as culture, because yes. I think culture really drives movements. And I know that sounds like a little bit of a cliche, but it's even like Rosa with Welsh. Like, culture is so important, and then that drives a movement, and then that's what brings people, because people want to be part of movements. Yeah. And I think that when you think about it like that, and I think Manib just said it beautifully. I'm going to use it now, and I'll quote him because I'm not going to steal the line, but he said on Stacks, people built through the bear and they were really mission driven. They weren't here because there was all this funding and, people come get funding, build, and then leave. And there's no sustainability. People hung around because they're really mission driven. And I think that when you're mission driven, it's because you feel part of a movement. And I think that whether that's on ordinals with whatever you're into, art, PFP trading, DeFi, runes, BRC20, whatever else other people are building, and then, the same on the L2 with Stacks, that's what's key. And that's when you've got like longer horizons. Sure, we need to make money. Everyone wants to trade and fill up their balance and stack some sats and stack some, stack some stacks. But at the same time, that mission-driven kind of like culture-driving movement thing is cool and important.
Hang on. We have a surprise guest.
We do.
We do.
Someone wandered in, and we have to have him on the
Yeah.
mic now. He's Jackman Switch.
The main man, Jack Binswitch. He came up to me and said, "Brett, it's Jack." I'm like, "No way!"
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
Man, it's good to be here, and I came in at the perfect time, man. You're just absolutely laying down some there. I mean, it all starts with the culture. Bottom line, that's the part that can't be faked. That's the part that can't be bought. It's just look. That's what it's all about. You have people who believe in something, who see a better way to do things, and everyone's here, and it's so cool to be here and see these people in person who are so passionate and just trying to build this better, more fair outcomes for everybody. And it really is a beautiful thing, but this is awesome, man.
Yeah. Welcome to the live Leather Lounge. It's great to have you.
Thanks. I was just coming down here. I was going to come make faces at Stuart and bit by bit and so on and so forth, and then sit down and yeah, this is great, man. This is awesome.
Live Leather Lounge.
This is
Some
wonderful.
beautiful alliteration.
Yeah, this is so cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, what was your highlight from yesterday then?
There was a lot of, I really loved the whole event of inscribing Nashville, just well, actually, so getting back to one thing that you did, because we could see it on the video wall, was the deck, right? Yeah. The one thing that I really loved about the deck, and there were so many artists that were there yesterday that had contributed to that project. It was so cool to see and recognize artists through their individual cards, even though I had never seen the cards before, right? I was like, oh, I know who made that, just because they have a unique style. And that aspect was just, for me, was so cool to see that.
Yeah, I agree. It was such a nice way to celebrate the artists and their art, and also put out some merch that really speaks to a lot of people. Not everyone, some people want to rock the t-shirts and the hats, and not everyone, wants to, rock the t-shirts and the hats, because, to each their own, but everybody pretty much relates to a deck of cards. And also it's a really nice, I can take a deck of cards home and play with some of my friends, and it's a conversation starter. Like, well, first of all, this is beautiful, 60 cards. It's a little bit bigger than the usual deck, because we had like 8 people submit jokers, but 8 artists, submit jokers. They are people too. And yeah, gorgeous. Like you said, the team tested me. I flicked through, because I work very closely with our partner artists, and I flicked through the whole deck. Some artists did deviate a little bit from their usual style. But I was like, how well do I know our artists? And I pretty much named everyone. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, it was good. And just getting it out in people's hands, they'll talk about it. They'll take them home. They'll show their partners, their friends, take it. Everyone wants to play, cards at some stage. And so just celebrating art in these kind of like different physical ways, when a lot of what we do is digital, is nice. They can, for example, like the original Prince book that we made, like I showed my grandma the book. Talk about my grandma a bit. She's actually really curious about what I do for work, so that's why I bring her up. And she was like, "Oh wow, okay, yeah, this is beautiful art. This isn't just." And I say this with respect, because I love PFPs as well. But when you talk about NFTs or art, digital art or whatever, people do just typically, not everyone, but typically think, oh, it's Bored Apes, like it's like Bored Apes or whatever. And so when they see that there's this wide-ranging, amazing variety of talent and quality art, or not just Bored Apes, but it's an eye-opener for them. And I think like things like that are really like key and pertinent to spreading the message without shoving it down people's throats, because that's not going to work either.
And what Gamma does better than anybody is highlight the artist, just straight up. Like that's, and it goes back to what we talked about before, and talking about the community, because community isn't just what you would say retail is, right? The community is the artists, it's the developers, it's the builders. And so kudos to Gamma. I mean, those card decks are awesome, and that was a good idea. You take the digital and you make it tangible, and you're right, it's going to click, and that's all it takes for people in the space, by the way. Everyone here had that moment where it clicked for them, and anything you can do that moves that needle is healthier for the space, healthier for the people. So yeah, kudos, guys. That's awesome.
Well, that's very kind, Jack. But that's the thing, like community, like, you and I have known each other,
Right.
digital amigos, for 3 and a bit years now. Rosa's been around, same, the community is key, and you guys are driving it as well. Like, we can't do, well, and Brandon knows it as well. Leather doesn't exist, Gamma doesn't exist. None of us exist without the community, without the collectors, without the artists, without everyone who's contributing, without just the DJs as well, or the collectors, who are part of these communities. So it's really, it's symbiotic.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
No, it does. Like, I was thinking about it the other day. I even made a tweet about it. When I first got into Stacks, the first thing I did after I visited the old Stacks website was I downloaded a Leather wallet, and then I went to Gamma.
That's right.
And yeah, it's just it is, and it's so cool. And if you think about it, we're immersed in it every day, right? And you tend to not realize just how much growth that has transpired in that 3.5 years. Like, the community is so much bigger, and you're just at this point now. And I think that Nakamoto is really going to be the thing that breaks it down. Once people are like, oh yeah, this is something that is just as fast as anything else I've used. But then they start the orange pill. Then they start understanding, because some degens, it's just number go up, right? Number go up. But if you stick with it, you're eventually going to learn things, and everything goes back to Bitcoin. And yeah, so it's cool to be here. It's cool to see all of these guys. I mean, absolute legends in person. And yeah, I think I'm gonna have to start doing this more often. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're definitely going to try to do this more often. This is so cool. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand this back to Rosar. Man, thank you guys for having me on. This
Thank
was
you.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you for joining.
Awesome to see you. Love it.
Wonderful.
Well,
yeah.
Go ahead,
okay,
Longstreet.
yeah, I just want to. Oh my God, the FOMO is so real, you guys. I wish but I want to point out that everyone talking here from different projects, all from Stacks and Ordinals, art plays such a pivotal role in the platform, in the community, and that mirrors like how I got into Stacks. So I consider myself like having been kind of Bitcoin maxi adjacent. I wasn't as interested in ETH or any of the other chains, but I saw Stacks. I heard about it because of Patrick Stanley having a conversation on the Pomp podcast about city coins, and I was looking for something to like invest in. So that's when I found out about Stacks. And then I found out this was right after Stacks 2.0 was launched and NFTs were enabled. And I thought, I'm a photographer and a musician. Like, maybe this is a new way for me to engage with a new audience and make art in a new way. So it's because of art that I decided to like dig deeper into Stacks. I mean, and now here I am right now. So it's been quite the journey, but it's because of art. And art is sticky. People maybe they don't come in for the art, maybe they do, but they stick around because it's fun. And we can like latch on to and find these identities around the art. And I cannot find this documentary, but I wanted to make this point, Brett, just to jump onto what you were saying about culture and art, because there was a documentary about World War II. And for me in school, like history, I never had like an amazing history teacher. So for me, it was just like an okay subject. Yeah, I never really got hooked.
History is one of those subjects where when you're learning it in school, you're like, this is boring. But then at home, you're like, you go on like a 2-hour Reddit or like Wikipedia dive on like ancient, Byzantine generals. And like, what I mean? For some reason, way more fun when you're learning history by yourself. I don't know why that is.
Self-motivated
Sorry, I
learning.
just had to say that.
Self-motivated learning, because you're also learning about the history that you're keen on learning about. But yeah, no, go on, Longstreet. Spot on, Reza.
Yeah, but there was a documentary that I saw about World War II, and it just blew my mind because it was World War II through the lens of art and culture. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't a sequence of events and facts and dates, and it was, this is the art that was being made all over the world. And then all of a sudden, everything clicked, and I understood everyone's perspective. And that's what art can do. It can help us empathize and connect with each other over commonalities, and it helps us put our differences aside.
Well, I think I'd like to lean into what Rosar's doing and driving. I know he's not just driving it on his own, but you know, you're the figurehead, my man. With Welsh, is we're seeing different PFPs and art, and you know, like remixes of the Welsh, you know, the corgi and all of these things coming. So art becomes part of that culture, even if it's based around a coin. Then you're seeing that, and people are getting identity, and they're just like vibing, creating memes, and doing all that sort of stuff. And it does, you know, different. It comes back down to art being part of that culture too. So Rosa's probably seeing that, particularly with what he's doing at Charisma, but seeing that happen kind of in front of his eyes as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just follow up to that. Like, this kind of goes back to that analogy thing I was saying before, where it's like, I just wanted Welsh to be, I mean, as much like Bitcoin as possible, because it has so much in common with it already. So, like, the one contribution I had to it was just trying to make it clear that, like, this doesn't belong to anyone in particular. It belongs to all of us. There's no official Welsh things. You can make Welsh stuff. You don't need anyone's permission to like create Welsh stuff. Because you know those are the things that make it like centralized or not centralized, in my opinion. Like, because those are properties Bitcoin has. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was clear. Like, you know, there's no gatekeeping here. This is the, you know, that was my belief in how people should look at Welsh too.
Again, so like culture's driving, you know, that's the culture that you've set or that you're trying to portray, and I think that's really important. I will say on a completely different note that it's Jason, isn't it, who I met? He gave me a leather hat. I finally have a leather hat. I've been like bugging people for leather. I remember like telling Ileana, telling Mark, I need a leather hat, and I finally got that piece of merch that I've been keen on for a couple of years now. So just throwing that out into the ether, that made my day. Stoked. Leather puts out some seriously good merch. Like,
I love it.
the class is there, the rebrand, it looks good.
It's quality.
Yeah, we have the leather hats. We're sitting in front of them right now. There's a couple on the table that are in front of us, and I guess I'll give us a slight spoiler that we'll be giving out a couple of those on social tomorrow. So for those that are tuning in, you know, that maybe can't make it directly to the conference here, we have some giveaways, and we do have another giveaway actually now for some different hats and stuff. So we're just giving everything away this week. It's been awesome.
I kind of want to wheel it back a little bit to the topic and conversation about art, because I was having thoughts about it and thinking things, and I just find it interesting that like art is very transferable, like in a way. Like if you were really, really deep into like one category of art, like you're almost like a critic of it to the point where like you've seen the best people do it, you kind of learn these things that are true about art in general, like as a whole. Which is super cool. And I think the same thing's true of like really good artists. When they're good at like one kind of art, they're often good at other kinds of art too. Yeah. So like one thing I've learned about art is like good art, like the one thing that's true about good art is it makes you feel something. You know what I mean? And the emotions that come with that are what create like relationships, you know, like strong emotional bonds with something. So, you know, I think that's like a big part of where the culture comes from, is like art and culture kind of entwined in that way.
It's a good point, and I think that's whether it's someone tells you that, you know, this is by a famous artist and it's expensive, or it's like something that's, you know, a few dollars, but regardless, if it resonates with you and if it makes you feel something, then that's what makes it art.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you see it and you're like, you get excited or sad, or like you relate to it because like reminds you of something in your life that was like really heavy, you know, that is what art is for. And or if it's music, it's like it reminds you of a time in your life that you never could describe or make sense of, and that like song perfectly makes sense of it and helps you like, you know, compartmentalize it or just like make sense of it in a way or understand it. Like that's art. Or if it's just like intense, heavy, and like exciting and energizing, like that's art too, you know, just like. But if you see and you're like, nah, nothing, then, you know, it's not for you. But it's all subjective. So
really is. And that's why it's funny with PFPs is that they're art as well. There's an artist behind them, and like whether it's Welsh corgis or Megapon apes or whatever, if you like, sometimes yes, you might buy them because it's a financial vehicle, and I'm not pretending like that doesn't exist. But sometimes you actually also go, I vibe with that ape. I want to like rock that ape as my digital identity, or I want to rock that corgi as my digital identity, or bird, whatever. Because we were laughing about it upstairs. I finally met. I thought it was Publius, but he pronounces it Publius, and how when he introduced himself by his name, and I did know his name, but because it wasn't initially like my brain didn't associate who he was, he then told me he was Publius, and I'm like, oh man. Yeah. And like, so your digital identity, whether that's your handle or your PFP, really strong. And you people select them. Sometimes they select them because they just want to be like, it's a flex, but sometimes they select them because it's like, no, this is me in my like digital landscape. And yeah, that's what makes them really interesting art as well, because as Rosa said really eloquently, they make people feel something. They make people like, it represents them as well. And I think that, yeah, that's why I think that's a really interesting space. And I think obviously PFPs are a little bit more financialized than like buying a pure piece of art. You have different time horizons on them. But that certainly crosses into, there's some interplay there as well.
Yeah, it's so cool to put a face to the PFP. Like I ran into Akva yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I only know him from the Honey Badger, his Honey Badger PFP, right? And yeah, to see, and then Jack too, who was here, right? Like, it's so cool to to see all these people in person. It's pretty awesome. Dave, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, I had a point, and I think coming into crypto, when you think about art always makes you feel something. I think that's kind of that was the point of it. But I think with digital art, it's now more than just feeling something. Now it's interaction, right? Now we get to communicate. Now we get to talk about it. We can trade it. We can barter it. We could make negotiations. It gives us so much more than having one physical piece of artwork hanging on somebody's wall that's not available for everybody to look at, appreciate. Yeah. And I just really love what Gamma's doing. Shout out to you guys, man. I love what we're doing with Welsh and Gamma, and I think the interaction part is what makes me most excited. We just launched our Welsh Crusaders, and we're doing a raffle with the NFT. So not only are the Crusaders beautiful, they're digital. You can speculate on them. There's secondary markets, but now it's like we can talk about it. Like literally, there's folks calling us up and saying, "Hey, I'd like an NFT with this flag on the background." I think we were looking at Zimbabwe, and somebody else said, "Hey, well, I got this flag. How about we trade?" And it's just really cool being able to see people take something, process it, and then be able to bring it up in group chats, talk about it. I mean, you just don't really see people doing that with the Mona Lisa these days. You don't see them doing that, with the Eiffel Tower these days. I mean, everything we do here in crypto is interactive, and I just think it's a whole new world. It's a whole new gate that's opened up.
Longstreet, I see you have your hand raised. So
God, if I feel like such a loser having to raise my hand to be able to jump in.
We love you, Longstreet.
We're doing head nods.
You're not a loser.
We're doing head nods over here.
Yeah. But Brett, so Brett is kind of reluctant to send, like, in his recordings, which he's been so generous to make for us. So thank you again, Brett. But he's been a little bit reluctant to talk about the pandemonium. And so I want you, Brett, if you don't mind, tell us about the pandemonium and then what you've been building and what that means for being able to view our ordinals in this digital space.
I am hesitant to do it in those recordings because I'm representing Gamma, and I try not to mix business with pleasure so much. But even though they're both very pleasurable,
right?
But look, yeah. So I'm really proud of it. It's my personal project. It's actually part of the path into which I ended up working for Gamma. Was I took over what we were previously called Stacks Parrots. Stacks is still our home. We still started there. We still have those collections there. We noticed on Cyber, on ETH, is a great way for people to immerse themselves in their art that they buy or whatever they want to show off. And that was on ETH. And we thought, well, it doesn't exist on Stacks. And I was lucky enough to work with two incredible devs who are still with me and the team. One's Ciro, or Albert. He actually is a colleague at Gamma. And then EOM Games, who's an amazing engineer. And he had been floating this idea of some kind of virtual world. And I thought, well, let's make a gallery on Stacks. So we started on Stacks and we built a gallery. So if you owned now like one of the Parrots or a Parrot Pass, you can access all of your Stacks NFTs in a really gorgeous virtual world or virtual gallery. And we've done the same thing on Bitcoin with the Pandemonium. Well, we renamed to the Pandemonium because the Pandemonium's like the collective noun for the Parrots, which is like our core identity. But it was just like a nice kind of like when we from Stacks NFT to Gamma. When you're gonna grow, you honor your core, you honor where you started. But we needed a. Here's Nick, our co-founder. I'll finish what I'm saying. Longstreet convinced me to talk about the Pandemonium. I don't like shilling my own project. We Ordinals was exciting. We wanted to be part of it. We wanted to do something that fit the culture that we started. We didn't want to just put out a collection and be like, hey, just buy these PFPs. We still wanted to build. And so, we built Audi Gallery, which at the moment is the only virtual Ordinals gallery. And it's, you unlock it with the bird that you own. So if you own a bird of a feather, it's, you unlock this really gorgeous gallery. Again, built by Ciro, Albert, who works with me at the Pandemonium and at Gamma, and then EOM Games. And they've done an amazing job. It's really slick. Dave was just saying that there's in the physical world, yes, you put your piece of art up on the wall, and which is great, and I have art up in my house, but we own all this digital art. And just a quick, you can access all of this incredible art from artists all around the world. They can reach a global audience, and you can go to Gamma and browse it, and it's absolutely gorgeous there because we have our UI. Our lead designer and our UI devs are just insane. But, having a virtual gallery, being able to really immerse yourself in it and enjoy it and see it in that way is powerful. And it's powerful for collectors because they buy the art and they might have long time horizons in terms of maybe selling it. But a lot of them just buy it because they love it. And we talked before, Rosa said, it made them feel something, it resonated with them. And perhaps they put it up on like a frame or, like a digital frame in their own house. But that virtual environment, that sort of like, I laugh at this word, metaverse, because it got so overused in the sort of 2021 ETH bull run stuff. Everyone was building a metaverse. But, we built our own little virtual world for you to really enjoy the art. And it looks great. It's a really nice way to enjoy what you've bought. And also to, for creators to say, hey, like, wow, they're displaying my art. And so it's kind of that digital display, if you like. And we're very proud of it. We're a little project, but very powerful little team, and love it. So you can have it. You can get a gallery on Stacks or on Layer 1 Bitcoin as well. So that's my TLDR. I don't want to go on. I'm very proud of it. It was, like I said, it was part of my path into getting a job at Gamma, which it just shows like such an incredible space that you can be proactive and have the skill set and meet people. Same as Albert, Ciro. He got the job at Gamma through starting off with me. So Rosa's doing amazing things. Brandon, I don't actually know your backstory, but that's my project, but it's exciting, and here we are.
Yeah, I'll just say I'm a proud holder. I have a birds of a feather, and
I'm proud you're a holder. Brandon's awesome.
It's wonderful, and wonderful art. And I'll just add on, to the Ordi gallery. I love the 3D element and the fact that it supports like a lot of the 3D ordinals that are out there, right? Like the runestones and the Stacks. Well, are they called Stacks Parrots? The ones you've sort of re-released?
Yeah, well, that's it. So they're the Stacks Parrots. We call it reincarnate because we've kind of like reincarnated them onto the mother chain.
Yeah. I saw that you had airdropped one into my wallet the other day, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?"
We like to look after our holders. That was really cool. That was that was designed and built by Nicole, who's an old school Stacks NFT artist who now, Gamma artist, Bitcoin artist as well. It was super awesome. And EOM Games and Ciro, it's so cool what they've built. So there's the 3D garden, we call it.
Yes.
And there's the main gallery. There is a spot on the right-hand side of the gallery that has nothing there yet.
Ooh.
And I am really bad with secrets. Luckily at Gamma, I've signed an NDA, so I literally can't say anything. But when it's my own project, I make the rules. So we've got something coming. I'm not going to say exactly what, but At the moment in the main gallery, HTML-based stuff doesn't render. And, we know that with any website, they're very resource heavy. So we might have built something pretty cool that soon you're going to be able to see maybe your pizza ninjas, maybe some of the generative art you own. Let's see what's coming. That's about it. I've probably got to seal my lips there.
Well, I want to throw it over to Nick because he's been super patient. But that sounds very interesting, especially for me. I've done a lot of inscribing with like websites and stuff like that. So that's cool. Nick, I want to throw it over to you. You've been patiently waiting. Can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. So welcome to Leather Lounge Live. And,
I mean, it is a nice lounge here.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be chilling here on the bench.
Yeah, welcome.
It's great. Thanks for having me. I'm getting over a bit of a cold, same as Brett. Actually, I think I might have. Hopefully, I didn't infect you. Maybe you got it through other means. But anyway, really happy to be here. It's been a great week so far. I was also thrilled to hear that the Leather Lounge was happening here at the Bitcoin Builders Conference because I thought we wouldn't be able to make it. And then Brett goes, no, it's downstairs. So you guys got a nice recording studio here. But first off, just on the subject of Orty Gallery, I would never consider holding a parrot. So no, I'm kidding. I have my share of parrots, and it is fun to spin it up and take a look at things. So I also think there's something nice, like, even coming from the like Gamma, I hate to say employer standpoint, but I think it's great when people, engineers do this, but even, if you're not an engineer, like having sort of a side gig that you're doing that is, tangentially related to the space, like it kind of shows that you are like mission driven towards what you're doing. And so I love it. I think it's fantastic, and excited to see it, grow over the last, few years now. So but this week has been great. Not sure if there's anything specific you wanted to chat about, but
no, we're
vibes are high.
Yeah, we're glad to just hear your voice, and I was at the event yesterday, Inscribing Nashville, and you moderated and the panels there with let's maybe mute. Are you yeah, there we go. Sorry for the echo.
And I think it raised itself
up. But yeah, maybe you could talk a little bit about that. A really cool panel with Casey and Parker Day for fun, and I know everyone was trying to get some alpha from that one, which was we're all very eagerly waiting. But I think that also kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, right? About less of the PFPs and more of kind of the fine art that's being inscribed on Bitcoin, and that's definitely one example of a really high quality collection. But yeah, maybe you can talk about that a little bit, and your experience overall yesterday and how that went. It was amazing event.
Yeah, I mean, it was the event itself was fantastic. I'm super proud of what we in Ultra Shows and Inscribing Atlantis put on. We've been working together on a few different events at this point, and really just like I think have complementary skills in terms of we all kind of have our own lane that we're interested in. We and actually all three of us are sort of interested in pushing art forward, and of course Bitcoin as well. So I think we're quite aligned in that sense. And on the fun collection, I think it was funny. A few hours before the panel, I went into one of the little side rooms, and Casey and Parker were just kind of chatting, and Casey was coding something, hacking away, and I had mentioned, I'm like, alpha question has to come up. Like, the degens want to hear the alpha question, and immediately they're like, listen, you can ask, but it's the answer is going to be, we don't know when, where, how. And I was like, well, I still have to ask it. The people need to know, where you're at. So, so that was a fun panel, but no pun intended. But I think one of the things that was really cool, and I think evidenced by that panel, but a lot of the others as well, was we were really able to bring art to the forefront throughout all of the subject matter, and it sort of shows that there's that like cultural element throughout, regardless what's being talked about. And so for their panel, it was actually like a museum vibes, and it had almost like paintings up on the wall of the first 10 pieces in the fun collection, but there were a number of different vibes for the different panels. So one of the first panels that was more about developing on Bitcoin That was sort of like a old West vibes, cypherpunk vibes at certain points. And so, yeah, it was really cool to be able to transform the room every 20, 30 minutes to something new.
It was, yeah, it was really cool to, just to see all the different genres of art and artists that are building on Bitcoin. Between like the generative art, we heard a lot. There was a really good panel on that from a lot of, just really, really amazing artists. We heard, from art that is sort of inscribing on like rare or special sats, right? The ephemera collection, and that was a really wonderful panel. And then, there's just been just so much talent in this space. It's pretty incredible. We do have Longstreet here as well. I don't know. Longstreet has his hand raised, and Longstreet, go ahead.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
So now I've collected 2 questions for you guys. First one for Nick. I guess it's more of a comment, but I just want to recognize how anyone who invites both of you onto panels, very wise. And you guys have been pretty gracious with your time with me. If I'm ever reaching out to something, you guys are quick to respond. And Nick, one brilliant thing that I think you guys both did with the summer pass was how you handled the minting. Because one thing that you were talking with me about was how do you handle this idea of scarcity and so can you talk to me a little bit about the inspiration behind the summer pass and then your decision making with making it available? What was it? 2 15-minute windows, like 11 a.m. and then 11 p.m. for 15 minutes. Can you talk to us about that and the summer pass in general?
Yeah, it's I'm kind of I like that somebody asked this because I and also that some passage of time has happened because I'm not trying to pat ourselves on the back or anything, but we really did put a lot of thinking into the mint mechanic itself because I think this was the first official release from Gamma. We've never done a release from Gamma before, and we wanted to make sure that it was a success and was well received and was reflected well on the community and Gamma the company itself. And it's a delicate balance, especially because we knew we were in kind of like a little bit of a bear market on the ordinal side of things. There wasn't a lot of activity going on, and a lot of people said, now isn't the right time to do this. But for reasons that will become more obvious later this summer, and sort of relevant that we're here at the Bitcoin Builders Conference, maybe related to some of the things that have been being discussed, today. But we wanted to do it specifically this summer for lining something up for the end of the summer and using the pass as not only a way to keep people excited and interested in collecting art over the quiet months of the summer, but also at the end of the summer being able to take part in something brand new. And so we knew it was something we wanted to do, but okay, how do you actually figure out what is the ideal sort of mint mechanic of this that invites your most loyal people to be part of it, but doesn't let things get out of hand either? Because as to make both collectors and creators and degens happy, there's sort of conflicting interests there. But there are also angles that overlap. And so I guess the short way to say it is that we wanted to make sure that everyone who had been a longtime user and a loyal user would be able to participate. And if you keep up to date with what we're doing, you hopefully wouldn't miss it. But we also didn't want to just have it open the floodgates and just have anyone be able to participate, because then it's not something that's truly collectible or exclusive or exciting to be part of the group that was able to to participate. So we took a subset of users. It was loyal users who collected at least 3 different drops on Gamma. We were very intentional about having it be things that you minted, not that you traded on secondary. And that was because we wanted to make sure that it was something that actually supported an artist. We didn't just want it to be something that you flipped or traded to somebody else. The second thing was that time window you mentioned. So keeping it to 15 minutes so that it was really only people that want to mint are going to be minting this thing. You have to, put it on your calendar and be here. And then the third thing was, because that is so restrictive, opening it up to multiple time zones. So it was actually two 15-minute windows spaced 12 hours apart. So that was sort of the there were other little elements to it, but those were the key things of the mint mechanic. And I think people really enjoyed it, and I think it struck the right balance. We're around 2,500 or so passes, and that's the perfect number for beta access for what we have coming at the end of the summer.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, let me ask you my second question that came up. So I think a lot of people are probably like looking at your lives, because you guys are full-time in Web3, in ordinals, in stacks, in this art on Bitcoin community. And I think a lot of people are looking at like your livelihoods thinking like, man, those guys made it. So could you talk to us just like, how has this changed your life? And are you always like just so busy like putting out fires and trying to solve problems that like you don't spend a lot of time thinking about that? Or do you ever like step back and think like, damn, this is fun, I'm having fun, like I made it? What's it been since you've come?
That's why they call it being fun employed.
Yeah, I mean, I am grateful. I hate to use this cliche phrase, but like, I am grateful to be grateful. I actually do think about this a lot. It's I certainly don't take for granted that, I get to wake up every day and do what I absolutely love with people who are as passionate as I am. I think, the fact that we hired 100% of the Gamma employees from the ecosystem kind of is like, it's just everybody that's here wants to be here. Like, this isn't people that we we're like recruiting from totally different industries. And of course you need to do that at some point, but I think while you're still like this scrappy team that's trying to achieve a lot with without absolutely crazy resources, it's I'm super pleased and proud and honored to get to do every day. So yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything more than that. Just excited, and I'm sure like others that get to spend full time in the space as well probably feel the same.
Well, I feel like you've already given us a lot of alpha. So between you and Brett, we have a lot to look forward to.
I feel like I've just come to terms with that. I'm just terrible at everything else. Like I'm just not a good employee
What
anymore.
does that mean?
That just means like I could sit down at an office job and try and do work on someone else's project, but I just mentally, my body just rejects it. I don't want to be there. Like mentally, I'm still solving some problem in this space, and it shows, So, like at a certain point, yeah. I mean, I had a good run working at 9 to 5, but I'm just gonna, at a certain point, you just get old enough. You're like, I just want to do what I want to do, and whatever happens, happens.
Well, we're glad to have you in the space. We hope that projects like Charisma will hopefully help to at least sustain your lifestyle and Welsh as well, right?
We'll see.
That that you don't need to go back to that. I also would hate to go back to like a traditional. Like I used to work at Microsoft back in the day, and I would hate to do that.
Let's just
again.
get our little candles in a circle for the Nakamoto
Manifestation.
summoning
Oh
circle.
my gosh, come on. Well, let me point out that everyone here started by building. Everyone has built something. And one thing that we haven't talked about yet is Brett still around? I'm sure he's still on mic, right?
He's across the table.
Yeah, he doesn't have a mic, but he's here. So we can
if we bring him back, because what we haven't yet talked about is Stacks Parrot Radio. And that is another thing that someone started building out just out of a passion idea. Let me know when he's back on so I can.
He's back on. Brett, so
I'll say g'day.
He's asking about Parrot
Brett,
Radio.
I am reaching through my microphone and twisting your arm once again in the context of the people who are passionate in the space choose to build and jump on things that we see providing value for other people and that brings us like fulfillment and something that we're passionate about. So in addition to building the Ordinals Gallery, the Stacks Gallery, you also built out Stax Parrot Radio. Is there anything that you want to share about that, what that journey has been like, what the ups and downs have been like, and where we're at now?
I don't know what the segue was to this, but yeah. When we built the Stax Gallery, we realized that there are musicians on Stax, like this musician that you should all go and check out called Longstreet.
I think they were like...
And Longstreet had put out music NFTs. And we thought, what is the best way for you to consume your audio-visual / audio collectibles? So EOM built in the Stax Gallery that still exists a media player. So rather than just having like frames and you go up and press play, it also wasn't super performant. So he built like an in-gallery media player, and you could curate up, Longstreet, 300, whoever, any of that music. You want to say, go, Rosa?
Oh, I'm waiting.
And
Finish.
on the gallery wall, you could go up and you go, all right, cool. I want to listen to this track by Longstreet. I want to listen to this Project Indigo track also by Longstreet. You want to listen to this 300 track, this Arno Carson's track, and you could line it up, press play, cruise around your gallery, or even go to another tab, continue on with your work, and listen to your music or audio, audio-visual collectibles, NFTs, which is cool. But we thought there's got to be something that's not, I don't want to be on my PC just to listen to the music I collect, because as humans, we leave our PCs sometimes. We sometimes.
What?
Wait.
You do that? What?
Rosa doesn't, do you?
My phone died, so for briefly, yeah, I'm separated from it.
And we've got our music apps, we've got our Spotify's, whatever. However you listen to music, SoundCloud, there are different apps that exist. And we want to listen to it when we're exercising, we want to listen to it at a party, we want to listen to it in the kitchen, we want to listen to it when I'm gardening, we want to listen to it in when living my life. And around that time, an amazing musician who I recommend you all go and check out called Violetta Zironi, or Zironi, she's Italian,
Right.
to do her surname slight justice there. She was coming out very vociferously against some apps that had come out on ETH that were essentially just aggregators. So you didn't need to own the music. You could just go and listen to her music. They were arguing that it was good for discoverability. She was saying, no, essentially, like that, you didn't ask my permission. Why, maybe like one in X amount of users might go and like my track and go buy it. But really, I'm putting out this music just because you can access an IPFS doesn't really mean that you should, it's the old right click save debate.
Yeah.
And so we thought, well, to listen to the music in the gallery, you need to own it. So why not build an app, like a Spotify-like app? Or actually, it's less like Spotify because that's streaming. More like the old, like a little bit like going and buying music at a store. You could buy it, you own it, you can take it home, you can stick it in your CD player, you can put the record on the record player, you can put the tape in the tape player, depending on what era you're from. This is just the modern version of going to the store, going to Gamma, going to other marketplaces on ETH or whatever. You go to the store, you buy the music you like, you want to bring it home, so to speak, and you want to be able to play it because you own it. So we built an app called Parrot Radio, whereby there's no wallet connect, so there's none of that stuff, which is tricky with Apple and whatnot to get through the App Store in any way. You just log in. It's open to all Stax addresses. So if you have a Stax address, which I'm sure a lot of people in this space do, because I know you all have Leather wallets, and I know Leather wallets all have Stax addresses in them. And if you own any music-based NFTs, to be honest, even if you don't, there's like a little in-app gallery as well. It's just like a 2D kind of like scrolling gallery where you can share from. So it's a super fun way. You download the app. It's free from the App Store or Google Play or whatever. I guess they're the two main ones. Type in Parrot Radio, log in, rosa.stax, whatever, Brandon or SP1, blah, 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 blah. You type in your address. We've got an in-app news feed that's powered by Seigel, which are OG Stacks, which is super
Nice.
Cool. So headless CMS. But yeah, we basically built a player for you to play the music that you own. And that is key because then the musician has been paid. That is like the cornerstone of the whole space. And then because you own it, you can then play it in-app. On Stax, it's open to all of the music that you own because there's less music. But we are on ETH for Parrot Radio only, not for the galleries. But for Parrot Radio, we're on ETH and Matic and what's the other one? Optimism. And Base recently. But anyway, for those
Various
L2s,
testnets.
various testnets, exactly. People are releasing music on testnets. But for on that side of the ecosystem, it's very specifically like the musician has actually given us permission for their holders to then have their music. So like, Violetta and Emma Miller and Josh Savage, some amazing musicians, but they've given us the permission to actually like, just because you own, say, some musician who's over on that testnet, on either of the, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. But like, not every musician's on there. We're working more in partnership with them. So yeah, that was another thing that's kind of designed. Like we collaborated and consulted with Violetta quite a bit before we moved. I guess became multi-chain. But yeah, TLDR. After all of that, you've bought the music, much like you could go to the store back in the day and buy the music. You're bringing it home to play on your record player. Well, you're bringing it home to play on your Parrot Radio app, and it's like that modern way of listening to the music that you collect and paying the musician and not having those middlemen and all of those people taking in gigantic cuts, which we think is important.
Let me hop in here for a second.
I've been waiting for you to do it.
I've
seen you trying.
I was trying. Okay, that's point one, which is I did bring my USB this weekend. I'm gonna get on one of these DJ decks at one of these after parties.
Hell yeah!
I do have some original music of my own on there.
Ooh.
Not gonna play a lot of it, just maybe like one or two.
When mint?
Exactly.
The most exclusive is no mint right now. Okay, you just have to be here to hear it. You have to be in the moment. Honestly, I feel like that way about music a lot. Honestly, it's like you have to experience in the right setting.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the setting I feel like it's appropriate. Okay, that's point one. Two is I think the other piece of the chicken egg thing on Stacks to really get audio NFTs to pop off, because we had a lengthy discussion about this in one of the DeGrant spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I really think what needs to happen is someone to make like a voice memo app or something where you can just like quickly and easily make little voice memos as audio NFTs and just send them to people. Something to basically spam the network with audio NFTs, like tiny, really stupid things. You could just send like a message to someone of a fart sound or saying like, "Hey, what's up?" Something like that, and just flood the space with these audio NFTs until someone ought to do something about all these freaking audio NFTs in my inventory that I just are like impossible to search and manage.
Leather are going to allow you to hide those in the wallet.
Yeah, I feel like tokens is probably priority one right now with some of these.
Not
airdrops
Rose's voice memos.
Yeah, well,
I'll just keep sending them to you until you.
Yeah, some of these airdrops.
It'll become a priority eventually. Yeah.
Some of these airdrops, I'm glad that we can. Yeah, you guys acted really quickly. Thank you for that. Yeah, I know. Look, I just think that Stacks is really ripe for music, and I know Good Kitty's pushing it. I know that she has her grant. I know she's been working super hard with D-Grants, but she's got her grant. She's going to be bringing a bit of a mixtape once Nakamoto's released.
The reason I think this needs to happen is because like music is really it takes a long time to make a track. Like an artist can work a year on an album of like 12 songs, whereas like it's just like the volume is not there, and it's like people, like sometimes you just feel like it's not ready, you just don't release it. So I just think we need something small, spammy, and like non-committal, not necessarily like super high quality art, just something to just force people's hand, force the ecosystem's hand.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Create a problem.
It's hard to be
force
indie,
the solution.
It's really hard to be an indie musician. Really hard.
It's hard. I mean, like DJing, fun, easy, like a blast, always a good time. Like you can get the zone and things just kind of flow, and it's just fun. Production is like all the difficulty of coding, plus all the difficulty of like artistic vision, plus it's hard, and it takes a while, and like you hate everything you make for such a long time, and it's just putting together an album is very difficult. Singles alone are hard. Just remixing things that you're happy with is tough.
100%. It's interesting. Well, Longstreet's actually produced quite a lot for an indie artist. Like he can talk to it, but the Indigo stuff and then his own things, and he's kind of like little specials, like when he did some Christmas stuff and he put out like a little mixtape. I think it was like 4 or 5 tracks that can all be played in a row. So yeah, it can be done, and then to be able to play it, I'll give my one more little plug. Like you can then set up playlists on your individual app. So say I've got a song by Rosa and a song by Brandon and a song by Dave. I can then I can create a playlist only of what I own, not from other people's apps. Call it whatever, like Sunday session, whatever, and then like link them all in, and then just press play, and it can play through that playlist. So I think like individual tracks might be might be like where people need to start. Still not easy to make.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying there's a small percentage of people who make produce music and like are artists in like a musical sense, and tracks are probably the most lengthy thing to make. Like remixes or like little edits of things are faster. Like or just recording like a DJ set or something is like easier than making a song because you can just sit down and just whip one out.
Yeah.
So I just think like we need to be open to more formats. Like,
oh yeah,
it's more than just like singles. I think there's so many other things that are honestly like people like listening to like mixes, like 31-hour mixes of just like full sets.
What if, for example, this space or Twitter, X spaces like the Leather Lounge, they're recorded. You could mint them. You don't have to go back through the Twitter feed to find it. You just pop it out as like a free claim. And then, a free claim doesn't cost much. It's a gas fee. And you could easily claim it once it confirms, jump on Para Radio app and it would show up and you can listen. So it could be a good way of keeping a record. There's different, I agree. So you said multi-formats. That's just an idea. Like there are different things that we listen to that could work.
But to your point, you can be sure at least one of my tracks will have a clip of vocals from the Leather Lounge right before the drop.
Hell yeah. And we're just going to say it again. Lord Rosa, when mint.
Yeah, get it. I tucked in one of the music collaborations that I did with Dr. Suss and Boozy, I took some Twitter Spaces recordings. Okay, well, let me give some context here because this was super fun. So this was kind of like when I was really going hard, just collaborating with a bunch of people, in mostly in the Stax ecosystem. And then Boozy and Dr. Suss, it was Dr. Suss who reached out first and said, dude, you have to make this song. I'm going to get you in touch with Boozy. And Boozy sent me all these ridiculous links to ridiculous Twitter Spaces with, not gremlins, but like what was the?
Oh yeah, the goblins. Or whatever they were called. Those ETH
Goblin Town.
Goblin Town, WTF. And
well done if you sold the top there, by the way. I hope you did.
Right. So I was listening back on these spaces like, oh my God, this is like peak culture ridiculousness. So I was like digging deep and he was giving me all these ridiculous phrases. Like you gotta say this and this and this and make these sounds. And so I was either like ripping recordings from X Spaces or like just making goblin sounds myself. But one thing I also did in that recording was like Long Street. But I took the Discord bleeps that you hear because like one of my favorite little joys is being like hosting a Leather Lounge space and then I hear someone's computer on the background and they got their Discord open and you hear the doo-doo. You hear that. So I took that recording and I like manipulated it so it became like it developed its own like musical quality because I manipulated it and dropped the pitch and raised the pitch. But yeah, I love this idea of okay, look, Rosar, it's got to happen. Win mint.
Long straight. I hate to cut you off. We got to say goodbye to Brett and Nick. We're so thankful that they joined us, but they gotta go join another event.
Brett, Nick,
thank you so much for having me. It was a real pleasure. I was looking forward to it, and I was kind of a little bit disappointed when I thought maybe I wasn't going to be here. Pleasure to be in the same room as you all.
Yeah,
Rosa,
wonderful having you guys
Brandon.
on. Thank you so much,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll I'm sure we'll see each other later on in the day.
Definitely
hopefully,
will.
yeah.
All right, Leather Lounge, peace out. As I like to say at the end of my little gamma corners, I think we've called them. But enjoy the rest of your time and happy Bitcoin
Absolutely.
week. Let's go Stacks and see you all on the interweb soon.
All right, thanks, Brett. I think that might be a good place for us to potentially end it, but I'd love to hear kind of some last words from you guys. And thanks, Nick. Rezar, we can start with you, and then Dave, we'll throw it back to you. at the end, and then Long Street, of course.
Now I'm just thinking about that legendary Trippin' Monkey rant on one of these spaces a while back. Does anyone else remember that?
No.
Oh my God. It was a legendary like monologue. I think it was like a 30-second monologue that was just like the most pumped up thing ever. I gotta find it because would be a great build up. That's all I'll say for a track.
Well, cheers, guys. Thank you so much, Leather Lounge, Brandon. Long Street. You guys have just been great, and it's a real honor to be here. And we look forward to seeing you out there on the Twitter Spaces. Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, we'll be there next week. For the next Welsh space, and
right on.
Yeah, I Long Street, thank you for hosting. So we can I can try to manage all of our audio stuff here. And thank you to everybody, for joining us. That is not physically here. That was our goal, right? Is to try to bring you as close to Nashville as possible through this space. So hopefully that helped a little bit. You're able to experience. We're so thankful to all the guests that joined. Jack Binswitch and Nick and Brett from Gamma, and gosh, who else? We got Stu, of course, and and Rosar and Dave that are here still, and everybody. We're so thankful. So this has been a really amazing 2 hours, and wonderful that everybody that's listening right now was able to join in.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Definitely the best energy of any show so far. Our first show had really good energy too, but like in person, come on, you can't beat it.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Brandon, thank you so much for bringing your gear, setting it up, bringing people in. We need to shout out Annie.
Brandon.
Bringing people in, corralling in. I think she grabbed Brett by the arm and dragged him into the room to show him the way. So
yes.
Thanks everyone.
Yes, I think we're starting to cut out a little bit. So Long Street, I'll let you just play out. But thank you again, everybody, for joining, and hopefully we'll do another one of these in-person live leather lounges pretty soon.
All right, well that's it. Well, thank you again, everyone else, for joining us for in-person Leather Lounge live from Nashville. Remember, leather is your gateway to everything Bitcoin, from DeFi to stacks, ordinals, runes, stamps, NFTs, and more. Visit our blog and learn center at leather.io. Find loads of helpful crypto content on our YouTube channel. And I'll see you next time. Stack sats and travel safe. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for listening. We record Good for Bitcoin live every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on X. Please follow us at Trust Machines Co. if you would like to listen and engage with us live. Visit us at trustmachines.co for all the latest Bitcoin news. We'll see you next week.